Hello, this is Satbir Mali. In this video tutorial, I will give you the introduction to MATLAB. What is MATLAB? The full form of the MATLAB is Matrix Laboratory. So in short, we call MATLAB. It is a dynamical computer language in which variables require no declaration. You can create variables just by initializing them. All the variables are treated as matrices. Some advantage of MATLAB. This tool has a fast implementation and debugging. In this tool, all the operations are very natural, and it is a very powerful tool for image processing, such as you can plot really cool animations and graph. So first, let's get familiar with the main screen of the MATLAB. So in the main screens, you will see these four important windows. The first one is the current directory. Second is command window. The third one is a workspace, and the fourth one is the editor. So first, let me take you to the MATLAB, and I will show you these windows with their function. So when you open the MATLAB the first time, this is the main window you will see. And as you can see that is this main window has three different windows or folder. One is they call the current window. And this one is the second window, the command window. And this window is known as the workspace. So they have their own users, so which I will explain you in a few minutes. Let's first talk about the current window. What is a current folder or the current window? It is basically the folder which you want to save your data or you want to access your data from your computer. So when you open the first time, you will see it only as the user, but here is basically the directory of your current folder. So which current folder is open in your MATLAB, the path of that current folder will show here. So if you would like to open the folder in which you want to work, all you have to do is you have to click on that icon, which is say the open file. So if you click on this, it will take you to your desktop or laptop where you basically want you to go. So let's suppose I go to the desktop and I have created a folder which is the name MATLAB workspace. So if I open that one, you will see that in the current window, my folder is open. In that folder, I have a two file, and the one is slide and another is the code which I was working on Yoda. So if I click that, double click on that folder, it will open the folder. So as you can see that I have some code which I already written in MATLAB. So these code will appear here. And the extension for the MATLAB file is .m. So all the file which has a .m, it means these are the MATLAB files. The one which do not have the .m, it means these files are not a MATLAB file. So this is basically the current window. Right now I am in my current window. As I can see also the path is basically I am on my desktop and that folder is in the MATLAB place in Joda. So command window is work like whatever I want to execute. I can execute in my command window and it will take whatever is in the current folder and it execute, or whatever I write it here, just pressing an answer, it will execute it. So for example, if I want to execute the code, which is a Joda, which is the must have to have a MATLAB file .m, so I can execute that code Joda. So if I just enter the name and press, it will execute that code and you will see the output. So as you can see, this the picture of the Joda is there and it will run that code which I already have it. So also you have noticed that on the And also notice that when I run my code on the workspace window, these data set appears. So workspace window is a window which will basically, whatever you run in the command window, it saves the data in the workspace. So in this case, the value of the variable x is this, and it is saved. Basically, this is the matrix F3 order of that matrix is given and the format is a double. And these are the basically the data set I have used in my code Yoda in order to run this. So you will see that all the data which has been used, it will appear in the workspace window. And if you want to look at the data, all you have to do is basically just go and click on double click on that uh, folder, and it will appear that the variable. So this variable F3 is a matrices of order 4667 by 3, and all the data set will appear here. So you can click here to close it. If you need to look at any data set which you are using in your code, you can just double click it and see it here. If you want to clear on the command window, this is a CLC is the code which will clear your command window. And if you would like to clear your workspace, if you say clear, it will clear the workspace of your workspace window. So these are the three main window as you see, but I have not shown you what is the editor. So how to open the editor window? This is not a default window. If you go on this script, new script, this will open the editor. What is the editor? Editor is a basically writing space where you can write your code and save it in order for the future use. So as you can see that at some point I have created that Yoda file, and I wrote all the code of the Yoda files in my editor. And once you hit the save, that will save your editor window. So another way, basically, you can run code and also open the editor is if you just double click on your current window, the folder which you want to run, it will open the editor file. And also you see that when the editor file is open, it also open the publish and view. These things will be open, and the editor has so many other functions which will be open with it. So these are the code which I run just recently. And if I want to run them again, I can do in two ways now. I can just write here in my command window the name of the file, or I can just press this one, it will run it. It will basically automatically press here Yoda and it run the code. And also use space in the workspace, the data set appeared. The one last thing, the default layout of the MATLAB is this, basically where you see your current window on the left side, workspace on the right. In the middle, you will see the editor and the command window. This is the default format. And you can always change these window where you want to place just by clicking it and moving it around. So the way you basically would like to see where you want to keep your windows. And if you want to go back to the default, all you have to do it, you have to go to the layout. So this is the layout window where you say default, and it will go back to the default setup. So we just review the main screen of our MATLAB, and you have seen that there are the four main window, which is a current directory where you save your code. The command window is where you run your code. Workspace is where you can look at your data set and you can access your variables. And the editor is where you can write your code. Our next topic is variable and some basic operation in MATLAB. So MATLAB basically has three type of variable. The first one is scalar, and the second one is array. There are two type of array, horizontal and vertical array. And the third one, the third and last one is string. So first, let's go to again the MATLAB window and try to understand how these variable work and how to basically create these variable. So here we are again in our main command window, and we will learn that how to initialize the variable and create them, and what is the difference between scalar variable, array, and string. If I want to create a variable which is a scalar, all I need to do is I would say x is equal to whatever the variable value I want to assign to that variable. And if I press run, it will basically also print the variable. And also you can see that variable in the command in the workspace it has been also stored. So value has been created at a s and it stored the value, basically 12. So if you double click on, and if you double click on that, you can also see that this variable is stored in a matrix of order 1, which has a 1 row and 1 column, and that value is stored as 12. And similarly, if you need to create another scalar variable, so you can name basically some y, and you say it basically has value 10. You will see that it is another variable is created whose value is 1. If you just enter any scalar number here, let's suppose you enter 4 and you press enter, you will see there is one variable which will be created, which is a default variable. Its name is the ANS, and all the value which you do not assign to any variable will be automatically assigned to this default variable. So if I say now it's a 12, and you will see that the variable value has been changed to 12. So this is how basically the scalar variable are assigned, and it's just by giving some initialization to them. Now, next we will talk that how to create array. Array is very simple creations. So you say A is equal to the square bracket, and then you give them the value and separate all these value of the array by a comma. So if you don't want to print, so you can just like put the semicolon, it will not be printed, but you will see that this variable array has been stored here and its value is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you want to create another variable, which is the array, and this time you want to create a vertical array, in is the almost same, but instead of using comma, you will use the semicolon. So this is the another variable I created. If I don't want to basically print the output, I will just press semicolons, and I see that my next variable created as a B, which is a vertical array. If I want to print, I just press B, um, and I can see that it is a vertical array. And if I want to see A, I would press A, and it will say it is a horizontal array. So this is how we create array in the matrix, in the MATLAB. So now let's talk about the last variable, which is a string. In order to create a string, all I need to do is define string as a, and then I will put these on these columns, and I will write my string. So let's say hello, and you will see that there will be a variable is created by name s, and the word hello has been stored. And you can also create one more variable. Let's say I will case t as a string, and in which I can say uh, I will give the space first and say uh, how are you, and semicolon close, and this will basically create another string as a t which has this value, how are you. Next, we will talk about some basic operation in MATLAB. So for scalar, there are basic operations addition, and which is basically denoted by this symbol plus sign. The multiplication is operated by that symbol, which is a star, and the division symbol is this slash. The array, if you are want to add to array, the operation additions will basically the same. However, the multiplication of the array, you have to put a dot here in before the multiplication, and same time, if you want to divide two array, there will be a dot. So dot is important for multiplication and addition operation for array. String, you can only there's many way you can do with a string, but there is one basic operation which you can apply on a string. You can attach the string by using the addition sign. So let me take you to again in the MATLAB, and I show you that how these operations will work in a MATLAB. Yeah, next we will see how basically the basic operation work on are the three different type of variables. So as you can see, my variable x and my variable y, they are both scalar variables. So if I want to add x plus y, so simply I put the addition sign and it will calculate. So 12 plus 10 is 22. If I want to compute the multiplication, it will have to be star sign and to calculate the multiplication. And also it will calculate the division. So there is no basically issue of the operation. It's very intuitively that what operation you want to do, it will calculate that one. Next is the array. Array operation, you can only add two arrays. So you know that A and B are both array. You can only add them if it has the same dimension. So as you can see, this array is a horizontal array and that one array is a vertical array. So adding them will sort of does not make any sense. So you only want to add a array if which has a both a horizontal array of same length. So in other words, so A, if I want to see how many point in the array has, this is sort of the code length of A. I will calculate the length of A and it will tell me, okay, it has 6 point. So if I create another array, let's suppose I create a B, or I can update the B variable. I will create 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you can see this is also a horizontal array which has the 6 element. So I can add A plus B now, and it will basically add the respective entries. Term by term addition will happen. The same way you can add two vertical array if they have the same dimension. You can add them. So if you multiply A star B, it will not work like that, and it will give you an array because you did not use the dot. So if you want to multiply two array, so you have to dot A star B. So this is the valid operation for the multiplication. So or it multiply basically, it will multiply the respective entry of each array, as you can see what it did here. So this is the multiplication of array. And also you can divide A divided by B, but you have to use that division sign first dot, and it will sort of calculate each respective entry will be divided by using that operation A dot B. The last operation, so the last operation in this string is, so you know that our S is a string and T is a string. So if I use S plus T, and it will calculate, basically will attach this string to that string. So hello, how are you? So as you can see, these two word has been attached, but star operation is not defined here. It will give you an array that the input argument is a string, so you cannot do the multiplication, and same thing will you cannot do the division because the input argument type is a string. So this operation is not valid in a string. So one last thing I want to also talk about this format. So the MATLAB as a format, the default format is basically short, which basically if you take any decimal, just suppose 4 divided by 5, it gives you 4 decimal representation under the format short. This is the default one. If you want to calculate the more decimal representation, you can change the format, just typing the format long. This time, if you divide 4 by 5, you will see this will be more representation, or let's suppose 1 divided by 3. It gives you basically more decimal representation for your ration number. You can also change the format to rational. And in this case, if you have some decimal represented, space 3.14, it will convert that 3.14 into fraction. So if you use the format rational, it converts the rational number. And if you choose the format short, it will basically take the rational number and convert these number into decimals. So let's say you have 3 divided by 4, that's become 0.75 U. So it gives you 4 decimal representations in this format. So these uh, 4 sort of common format you have in a MATLAB. And each time you change the format, and if you want to go back, you have to basically type the format and change that format. So then this is now you will see the default format is basically long now. So even you clear the main window, the default format will not be get cleared. This is the end of our video. In the next video, we will learn how to plot the graph, and we will also learn the how to use the syntax, how to read the syntax from the MATLAB website and use their function. Bye for now. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.